Hey folks, how's it going? Chris here from ModXtra Games Collectibles. I hope you're well. Pleasure to have you with me here today. And today's video, this installment is a bit different, a bit random really, because I've been asked on numerous occasions whether I would do a collection overview or a behind the scenes kind of tour sort of thing. And I've procrastinated over it, but you know what? Today is the day. I don't have a lot of display space. There's not a great deal of stuff to show off. I don't have one of these glorious floor-to-ceiling IKEA Kallax collections or anything, but for those of you who have asked and are interested, I'll give you a little look at what goes on here at MoDXtra Games Collectibles Towers, or as is more accurate, this little shoebox of a man cave that I have in the corner of the house. So yeah, I'll show you what's out on display right now. I'll show you where all the stuff gets boxed up when it's not on display. Show you the toy tuber setup where I do the recording. Walk you through a couple of the shelves. Short and sweet, I suppose. But just for those of you who are a bit nosy and want to see the stuff from behind the scenes. So yeah, come with me on a very short tour around this room. Okay, I'm going to get started on this side of the room. Probably the side of the room that is least seen on camera behind me when I'm, you know, doing to-camera footage or live streaming on my YouTube channel. So this is probably the area that folks are less familiar with when eyeballing behind me. I'll start over here. Got a little Lego minifig, Star Wars minifig collection there in a frame that my wife found me for my birthday one year. Mostly original trilogy characters, but I have snuck a couple of prequel trilogy Jedi in there, and of course Darth Maul because he's badass. I don't talk about the Lego collection a great deal, the Star Wars Lego collection. In fact, most of it's boxed up and hidden away nowadays. I'm kind of a bit off with Lego. It's getting so expensive to keep up with. And also, I'm less interested in the Disney stuff, you know, so as they make more and more sets related to the newer releases, I'm less and less interested in what's going on, although I have had my eye on some of the anniversary edition stuff. Also, some of the things I missed, I've got incomplete collections because one part of the bigger picture got discontinued and that frustrated me, but I do like to keep my little minifigure collection. But then the Star Wars theme does carry on a little bit further into the office, because you'll see on this top shelf up here, I've got a few bits of Lego, got a couple of the Lego helmets, Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Scout Trooper, got the Probe Droid over there and BB-8 at the end, a couple of Black Series figures, and then this here, this is the only Decipher Star Wars CCG trading card that I kept. This is the Boba Fett Bounty Hunter, quite a difficult one to get hold of back in the day from the Reflections 3 set. But I've kept all of this one because I don't know if you can see the gold writing on there. It's signed by Jeremy Bulloch, who was the guy inside the suit in the film. Then moving a bit further down, I've got a section here which is my little red dwarf shrine. Got Mr. Flibble there on the end, one of my absolute prized possessions. That's an original BBC licensed T2 Mr. Flibble puppet, folks. If you've got one in package sealed, those sell for hundreds now on eBay, but mine's, I've obviously cracked mine open and used it for photos and for daft silly stuff. Got the novels here, the Red Dwarf novels. A couple of DVD boxes. These are signed by the cast and the writers. So I've got my season 1 there, signed by Craig Charles and Chris Barry, Norman Lovett, Danny John Jules and Rob Grant's on there. I haven't got Doug Naylor. Need to track you down one day, Doug. Get your John Henry on that to complete it. And then I got my season 3 with Hattie Hayridge and Robert Llewellyn on there when they came into the story on some cool little 3D printed stands. Got my Corgi, my Red Dwarf Corgi toys there. A couple of Starbugs and the Scutters. A couple of these books are signed by Rob Grant as well. So a little shrine to Red Dwarf, one of my absolute all-time favourite things ever. Well, I'm just generally a fan of like science fiction and fantasy comedy. So I've got Robert Asprin, Terry Pratchett, Douglas Adams, sorry. Along here, a few books that I like to like my comfort food that I go back to and reread over and over again, with a couple of sort of random figures just filling up the space there. My Indiana Jones Adventure series, got a few of my Akira bits, got quite an extensive Akira collection that I've never purged away. My little hard-boiled kit bash at the back there, and then a Deadpool operating as a bookend at the end here. So a little kind of comedy humour shelf, but with a few extra bits just filling up the space at the front there. And then if I crouch down a bit, you can see here, got my Fighting Fantasy collection that I've been rebuilding. One of those things that I got rid of years ago. I've said before, actually, I don't know if some of you folks saw my Universal Toy Collector interview that Stu did with me. But a dreadful habit over the years of purging a collection, just getting rid of it, selling it on eBay, giving it away to friends, whatever, and then regretting it years later and wanting to rebuild it. And I'm doing that with the Fighting Fantasy right now. Got a couple of D&D NECA figures there just to keep it nice and sword and sorcery down here. Although, where's my Elkhorn NECA? Where's the D&D Elkhorn? What's going on with shipping those figures over here, NECA? You're letting us down in the UK. But anyway, although it is a bit random, I've got a Thanos as a bookend on that, and then a Venom here as a bookend on the other side. Little tiny amp for my guitars. Got some Royal Mint rock and roll coin collections there, £5 coins, John Lennon, Elton John, The Who. And of course you'll have noticed that my guitars are on the wall because I get sent in here when I want to have a strum, when I want to be a little bit of a, you know, man cave rock star, but also when the family don't want to hear me playing. So yeah, I got a little shelf display area here. It's kind of just for me a little bit. It's not seen behind me on camera a great deal, but one of the areas that I like to just sit, take in, enjoy, and yeah, just reminisce and get all nostalgic with. Now this section, this back wall, which is behind my desk is over there, and you see this behind me on screen more often than not when I'm live streaming and such like. I get asked about these all the time. So some of you folks may or may not know that the MOD in ModXtra stands for the Ministry of Dice. One of my very first content creating endeavours was around the WizKids game Dice Masters with my mate Andy. And this frame here is all Dice Masters cards. These are blank sketch cards that I've had artwork done on by a very good friend of mine and a very talented artist by the name of Stu.art. These are all custom Dice Masters playmats, because when I used to live stream Dice Masters games, I used to like to have, you know, interesting stuff when the camera was pointing at the playmat for my audience to take a look at. And then I got a little bit more of Stu.art artwork there. So that's what's going on there. Really super important part of my life is Dice Masters and my tabletop gaming activity. I'm part of, you know, Friends for Life from that community, and so these have a pride of place in my collection just to remind me of that really important part of my life and those friends that I made playing Dice Masters. Then over to this side here, this is the bit that you guys probably can see or somewhat see behind me when I'm live streaming. So I've got these 3 spice racks here across the top of my IKEA units. Got these on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description down below if you're interested in them or getting some for yourself. So when you see my Instagram photos or you hear me say I'm changing the display today, it's usually one of these 3 spice racks that I'm changing up, because most of my collection is actually all boxed up in a cupboard in the corner over there. In fact, let me show you. So in this little bit in the corner of the room here, you can see I've got this big kind of cupboard space, which is just filled with boxes with all my packed away collectibles. In fact, if I tuck myself in like this, you can probably see it goes far back. It's about 2 meters or just over 2 meters back, and just got boxes and crates of things just for days. These are some foam package cases. Then got these really big, really useful boxes with a large capacity in them. There's 2 of them per shelf along these 2 shelves here. Now, like I say, I often purge a collection, but there is some stuff in here that I just couldn't bring myself to get rid of. Tucked away at the back, although the ones here at the front, like that one there, I've got my classified and my more recent Marvel Legends and stuff in, but no discernible level of organisation. So when you hear me complaining about taking figures out to to do a quick comparison photo or section of a video, that's why I'm complaining, because they're possibly in the second box up at the back there, and I'm going to then take 2 boxes out and all that kind of stuff. So most of my collection is in there, but then every now and again I'll have a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon where I'll drag one of those boxes out and change those displays I was showing you before. Now, normally whatever goes on here is just based on my whims or what's fashionable at the time or what I'm into at the time. So I've got a little Dreadnought collection from the G.I. Joe Classified series here, because Torch has been a recent addition to the line. I wanted to get all the Dreadnoughts out and try him out with them. This is my Gentle Giant animated, Marvel animated statue line, the Scotty Young stuff. In fact, that tends to stay permanently in place because I don't like packing them up and unpacking them a lot in case they're quite fragile. And then I've got a little Marvel Legends collection there because I've just recently had Cable, so I've gone for a little bit of an X-Men theme there. So I changed these displays out, got a couple of lights underneath them there, you can see illuminating the wall at the back, just to give it a little bit more shelf presence and pop, particularly when the lights are all off. See? so that I can enjoy my collection. And again, just sit and soak it up, but the man-child play bit is the big part when I decide to take them down and put a fresh batch up. It takes me hours because I just end up playing with the figures for hours before I actually build the display. Oh, I'll tell you what, these are nice as well. I like these. These are a couple of Ultra Pro comic book frames that I found with a little hanging hook there. Because it's Dreadnoks at this end, I put my Ripper cover Cobra Commander issue in that one there, and because it's X-Men down this end, I've dug out an old foil X-Men issue from the long box and popped that in there. I've been asked about these before, actually. These are my Beatles here. So that's quite an old piece of the collection. Got myself my graded Beatles Abbey Road gold trading card there. And then the figures themselves. I probably shouldn't keep that in front of the light, actually. Let's move that. That's McFarlane Toys, the Beatles animated series. And then I've got my Lego Yellow Submarine. I absolutely love it. I've said this before. I love it when my two loves in life mash together, which is classic rock and adult collectible toys. And they're a great example of that. Although I have also got some Eagle Force figures hanging out in front of them at this moment in time. And then the shelves below just operate as storage space. Got my trading card collection here. Oh, you hear that? Ice Cream Man's here. Got my trading card collections here. Various sets and stuff. In fact, one of my pride and joys in here is my Akira set. Near complete, one card short, but I'll never get that card. I've only ever seen a photo of it online once, and I only ever saw it go up on eBay one time. And it went for like £1,000. It was ridiculous. And one of my biggest regrets in life, talking about purging collections, one of my biggest regrets in life is purging my my Marvel Fleer Ultra trading card collections from the 90s. I really wish I'd kept them. They go for a hell of a lot of money now on eBay. Although it's not about that, really. I just wish I'd kept them. You know, I miss them. But in any case, yeah, here's my storage space. And then I've got more books. Oh, there's a little diorama set up in here. Some of you guys may have seen my photos using that dio on Instagram. And then some of you will know that I'm an avid tabletop board gamer as well. I've got a few games in some shelves here. Big old box of dice there. A lot of the games I play are actually over in the dining room because I play them with my wife and kids, the family games that we play a lot. So those more kind of communal games are out there. These are more the solo games or the more specialist games that I play online with my mates, like my Dice Masters stuff. A few trade paperbacks here and some books and stuff that, again, I couldn't bring myself to purge and get rid of. I'm actually almost entirely digital in my comic book collecting nowadays, using Comixology. But there's a few trade paperbacks in here I couldn't get rid of. But the figures in front of them as well, some old kind of DC Direct stuff like the Jesse from Preacher, Elijah Snow from Planetary. Got my Spider Jerusalem from Transmetropolitan. Big fan of Frank Quitely as well, so I've got my Frank Quitely Superman and a couple of Frank Quitely Batman figures here from the All-Star Batman issue 1. Was it All-Star Batman? Yeah, I think it was All-Star Batman. Or no, Batman and Robin there. And then some old stuff like my old Action Force comic books from the 80s that I got off my mum and dad was in their attic up there, and some old 2000 AD stuff and some old X-Men stuff. My G.I. Joe the movie DVD, dusty as fuck, and I don't think I've actually watched it on DVD for a long time. You know, for a short period of time there, you were able to watch it on the Viper Island channel. Apparently that's how you get subs. Now this little corner unit here, you guys will definitely see because this is usually behind me on camera. Recent figures, when you hear me talk about the desk figures that I play with, they're usually residing on here. These Jada Toy Street Fighters have been desk figures for a long time now. They're great just to grab two and make a little display out of and just have some combat fun, yelling fight and stuff and Hadouken! And posing them up. Really enjoy those. So they've been my little desk figures for a while. Although it's a bit of a misnomer because they don't tend to always reside directly on the desk. Some Marvel Legends that I received recently. Falcon and Doc here for a little photo project I was doing, taking the piss out of Falcon's head sculpt and the fact we're getting a new one now in September. So although there are often figures on the desk itself, I've tidied it up today, but there is one still hanging around. There he is, Roadblock. dug him out to do a head swap with that Luke Cage figure and was like, nah, he's not going back in the box. He can hang around for a bit. So we've been playing with Roadblock for a while. Which one is this? Is this the Amazon exclusive one? I can't remember. I forget. Or Cobra Island? Or is it just mainline? Oh, I should stop my mouth before talking on a hot mic, shouldn't I? And then under the desk here, because space is such a premium, got my bits boxes here. My little ice cream tub full of G.I. Joe Classified Series backpacks. A few boxes. Guns, energy effects, blast effects, all that kind of stuff that I've gathered. Stands, things that I've gathered up over the years. And then a few of my, again, some comic book stuff in a short box and a long box that I couldn't ever bring myself to get rid of. When I purged my comic collection, I kept a small selection of stuff, although that top one now is starting to get occupied by the new Skybound Energon issues, because I've been buying some of those to go in my frames up there. And then this here is where the magic happens. This is the studio, if you will. So if you're ever thinking about becoming a toy tuber and you want to ask me about setup and stuff, then tap me up, but I'll give you a quick walkthrough. That's the review space there. Got the black background up because I've been doing some figure review lately, but down here I've got my light box with my different coloured backgrounds and a white background there, so I can do different stuff on this space here with a couple of lights and then a cold shoe mount for my camera on the front there. And I usually have the microphone hanging around down here too. So look, that's all you need, folks, to do an action figure review. Don't need a fancy setup, just need a box with a playmat over it, a foam board back, a couple of lights, definitely the lights. Lighting is very effective, and something to shoot it on. And you could use your phone for that. And there you go. There's the well, nearly, more or less the action figure review space there. Look. Then got my laptop, my computer equipment and stuff, my stream deck that I use for streaming. The camera, if anyone's interested, that I use is a Canon M200, and the microphone, the USB microphone that I use, is the Elgato Wave 2 or Wave 1, one of the waves over there. And then I've just got lights for days. Streaming light, photography and review lights. Just lighting is super important there. And then sometimes if you watch my live streams, you'll see me, I'm looking over this way, sometimes I'm looking over this way, sometimes I'm looking up above me, and that's because I've got these 3 screens all plugged into that laptop there, showing various information, although that's just a screensaver rolling around on there right now. So yeah, it's not super exciting. I think the quality of the image is very important, so I got myself a fancy camera, but I know there's folks out there, I can tell by watching their reviews and things, that they're not using something quite as fancy as that. So audio is more important actually, so I'm using a kind of wireless lavalier mic right now with my phone, but that's my Elgato. I'll put links to those two if they're still on Amazon. I don't know if you can still get them anymore. Down below. That's an affiliate link as well, so that, you definitely want to be, if you do want to buy them, definitely want to be buying them on my affiliate link. That really helps me out with my Amazon action figure accessory reviews, get some funds together for that. Or just if you've got any questions about the software I use or the way I record it, then just tap me up. That I put out on display goes the windowsill behind my desk here. So we've got like a Lobo there, an Infinity Gauntlet, some lightsabers, there's a Batman, Professor X and stuff, there's an R2-D2 little mug with a lid in the corner there. They're important actually because, or Lobo and Batman is important, if you can just see over my shoulder there. Oh, actually, let me turn the camera around for this one. So we've got Lobo, Batman and X23 here, and these are actually position markers. So if I put myself with Batman in front of me, that's my stream position. If I put myself with Lobo in front of me, that's for the news reports. If I want the little breakout box over my right shoulder, and then Laura Kinney is where I place myself in front of if I want the breakout box over my left shoulder. So I use those 3 figures as my little lineup thing. Ooh, just been flashing my screen. I wonder if there's anything private on there. I'll check. So there you go then, folks. I hope you nosy Lucky Lou types who wanted a behind-the-scenes tour enjoyed that. And that's it. I mean, it's just this little shoebox in the corner of the house that I reside in. I mean, I spend hours and hours and hours in here. Oh, there is one other thing, actually, very quickly. So I've got this little bracket here with a MagSafe attachment there. When I do a collector's thought from the sofa, I'm usually sat in that chair there, and then I swing this bracket out and record it on my phone using the magnetic clamp to point myself at. Is that interesting? I don't know. I'll go back to doing the outro now. If anyone does have any questions or anything, then just, track me down on Instagram, track me down on Discord. I'm pretty sure I've got all the links in the description down below. So DM me if you want to ask about the camera, the microphone, the setup, anything about the toy tubing side of things. Happy to help out. Or maybe you're a Fighting Fantasy fan and want to talk about Fighting Fantasy or whatever, then just drop me a line. I didn't talk about the guitars much on the wall, but they're there too. Yeah, that's it. Thanks very much for coming and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a random detour, bit of a different video for the channel today. And I hope you'll come back round and we'll see you for another video around these parts sometime soon, all right? Well, so it's Saturday afternoon as I'm recording this right now, so I hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend, even though by the time I edit it and post it, it'll probably be Monday. I hope you had a great weekend, and I'll see you again soon, all right? Take it easy, folks. Ta-da!